Okay, later than usual. Sorry for the delay. It is early morning here in Vietnam. So, yeah, I just woke up not too long ago. I woke up about an hour ago. I went and got me a cup of coffee. And then I had to wait for my wife and kid to wake up and try to get them out of the room. So that took a little extra time. I apologize. Glad to see that a few of you guys are watching here. If you're here and you haven't hit that like button, hit that like button. Let's get this out to more people. Comment in the chat. This is always an open discussion. But yeah, it's early morning here in Vietnam. I got my coffee in hand. Shout out where you're coming from. It's 8:30 here. Let's see. Whew, man, I do not look pretty. So I figured today we will, of course, go over the camera news. We'll talk about pretty much anything anyone wants to talk about at this point. But I also wanted to go over the idea of trading the Sony A7S III for the FX3 in light of the different updates that we've had recently for the FX3 and it just the general direction it looks like they're taking that camera. Is it worth upgrading or I guess trading, depending on your point of view, for that particular camera? Or is it worth holding on to the A7S III for the immaculate EVF that it has and the offerings that it has? I'm personally leaning towards trading it, even though I love my EVF. I just don't know how to make that happen here in Vietnam. So yeah, drop in the comment section below. I was gonna have on there. I don't think I had it in the title, but I was gonna say change my mind because like literally change my mind. I need to save some money. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this particular update is 100% worth it, but just seeing the directions that they're going and knowing that there's going to be more updates, that's where my mind is at. Like I said, if you're here and you're watching, drop in the chat. Let's have a conversation, but also hit that like button. Let's get this out to some more people. Also, let me know how my audio is doing. If you can, if I sound low, let me know. Anything that technically isn't working, throw it out there. Let me know. All right, let me go to screen share. Let's see what kind of news is out. There's really not been much news, and that's one of the reasons I didn't make a traditional video right yet. I'm hoping that this weekend I will be able to make one because there's not much news, so I might have to get creative, and I hate being creative. All right, so let's see what we got here. This was the latest from Canon. We know that we're supposed to be a new firmware for the R3 and the R5. It's supposed to be coming this week, but yeah, so that says it's coming next week. That was July 15th. Today here in Vietnam is the 22nd. I think back in United States, it's the 21st still at night for you guys. So that has not happened yet. We will see what it's about. The ordinary filmmaker didn't seem to think it was much spectacular because they were automatically putting it on there and shipping it out. So if it was going to be something interesting, they didn't think it was going to be anything. Other than that, I mean, you got some RFS lenses coming, 4.5 to 6.3. This is a very budget lens here. At least in my mind, it's a very budget lens. Does anybody hear that music in the background? They're singing the alphabet. I mean, I don't think that would get copyright strike, right? Here, let's see. We're over here at Sony Alpha Rumors. Likely wrong. Okay, this is new. We can go over this. Let's see who's here in the chat, actually, though, before I do that. Philip R. Peck. Hey, I stole your idea. Sorry. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. Don't sell your A7S III. No, man. I liked your video. I appreciated it, and that's funny. I'm in Vietnam right now for this foreseeable future because that's where my wife is from. We're going to be doing some travel content, but I did not know you were from Nashville. When I get back there, we need to do a collaboration, right? That's what the YouTubers do. That's cool. No, I enjoyed your take on it. I don't know what I want to do with the selling. So the the biggest thing is the EVF that I'll miss. Like the reason I got the A7S III because, well, I thought that they were the same cameras for all intents and purposes. They were at the time, and I like the EVF because in bright sunny conditions, that's definitely a game changer. Since having this, though, I have noticed that you can turn the brightness up on the screen quite a bit. And yeah, born and raised in Tennessee, there all my life. Well, until right now. I mean, I travel quite a bit. What's up, man? How are you? Um, what's going on? So, dude, I like how your name has that unique smiley face looking thing. It's kind of cool, like an Amazon thing. I don't even know how you do that. That's dope. Um, Seeing though how much you can turn up the screen brightness, that does, I guess, diminish slightly my worries about not having an EVF. Um, the biggest thing is I want those LUTs, and yeah, that is, I want those LUTs, and I like that quick menu of the video controls. I mean, I've got my custom setup for the A7S III, but I do miss, like I shoot some Canon as well. I've had the EOS R. I still have it. I kind of use that as more of a stills if I need higher resolution. And just the way Canon is with their uh, just the way Canon is with their menu system. I love that cinema, menu system where it just looks like everything's right there on the touch screen at your fingertips. I like that idea. I love the idea of adding my LUTs, or rather the Phantom LUTs. I love the Phantom LUTs. Adding those directly to the screen, so using those as my gamma rather than the regular gamma assist, and just that general idea. Those two things are the big ones for me. Um, but I guess the big downside is, like I said, the EVF. The other thing is there was somebody did a slide. Actually, Jason, he's not on here right now, but Jason, he did when he was doing his review of the FX3. He showed that there was I guess, a pamphlet that was given to him. I can maybe go back to that video in a minute, and it said V1, V2, and underneath it said V3. It was marked out. But just the fact that look how much different they've made this camera, and that they're not doing that for the Sony A7S III, and what else is coming. Like, I don't know. Like, they added some things. I wish they would have added more. But if they've added this much, and there's going to be a V3 coming supposedly, I mean, who knows when? But I guess that's in their slides. Like, what else are they going to add to that camera that they're not giving to this camera? I don't know. Those are my faults. All right. Manny Ortiz. Is that really Manny Ortiz? No way. Like, I'm kind of like starstruck here, man. That's what's going on here. Uh, welcome to the chat. If that's you, that's awesome. Um, none. He said, "Not much, bro. Just editing." Well, just editing. You did a great job. I liked it. It's pretty cool. Um, Philip said, "I like the EVF for stability shooting with a more natural POV. I'm always shooting from the waist if I'm looking at the LCD." Yeah, most of the time I wind up using the LCD for video. Of course, man, I love it though. With 12 megapixels, you can take better images than a lot of people want to give you credit for, especially if it's just social media. Uh, I'm still blown away. If that's Manny Ortiz, peace. Are you peacing out? Are you like leaving? That's what's up, man. Thanks for being here. What is your take on the Sony situation while I have you here? Are you thinking it's a big deal that um, uh, the FX3 did what they're doing? I mean, is it that much of a difference from a videographer perspective that you would be willing to trade an A7S III for the FX3? Let us know that. Philip R said a comment. a commenter on my video wondered if you could just load the FXR3 or FX3 firmware onto the A7S III. I did think about that. I don't think you can though. I think they have some safeguards against that, and I would be a little worried to try it, considering like I don't want to freeze up my camera. I'm not a software person, but I would think that no. Frank, you are willing to lose money on your A7S III for the FX3 unless you're going to get full value in trade. What's up, Manny? Okay, maybe it is Manny. My brain is hurting. Yeah, I kind of would be losing value, but I have um, this, which was a $600 accessory for the A7S III, and it comes with, I guess, minus the mic, but I don't really use this mic for it anyways. This is $600, and it comes essentially with it does come with the FX3. So basically, I would get close to even probably when I trading in. I also have like a cage that is a pretty good cage from Tilta with a handle, and so I would get pretty even. Those are things that I would no longer need having the FX3. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm not sure. I'm still going back and forth. I'm probably just itching to buy new gear, and I shouldn't be. If you're here and you haven't hit that like button and you're enjoying the content, good morning from Vietnam. Should I say good morning, Vietnam? Uh, if you're here and you're liking this, hit that like button. Let's get this out to more people. Apparently, Manny Ortiz is here watching, which is blowing my brain. Sorry, I don't mean to fanboy out over here, but you're kind of a big deal. You kind of, what is it? You have leather bound books. Your office smells of rich mahogany. All right. Yes, sir. We got Manny in the house. Manny Ortiz, when the next video? I'm all about that too. When is that next video? I think last time I saw you were shooting some Nikon. You're primarily Sony, but you were shooting some Nikon. So I would be interested to see what your take is on this FX3. But you're primarily a photographer from what I've seen. I've seen a lot of your videos, but I'm not going to say I've seen all of them, so I'm sure you do plenty of video work as well. But I don't know if the FX3 would necessarily be your cup of tea over the A7S III. All right, let's go to screen share. Let's has anybody seen any big news that they would like to cover here? That like maybe you would like to drop into the chat and we can go over as a group. I have all the different rumor sites pulled up. So right here, this is literally new. This just came out. Well, I guess, yeah. So for me, this might have been yesterday or last night, but I checked everything last night and there was nothing new. So it says likely wrong. A7000 rumor from China, 24 megapixel, 1700 4K 30p. Some Chinese forum shared those A7000 specs that are 99% likely to not be true. And if he's saying that, then it's probably true. Just kidding. Just for the sake of clickbait, discussion, I will share them. All right, like you said, so this is probably BS, but who knows with Sony Alpha rumors. A7000 24 megapixel CMOS sensor, Bion's XR sensor, 11 frames per second, 6K full pixel hyper sampling, 4K 30, super sampling, 1080p. I mean, this is all lame, just to be honest. If this is it, this is like A7000. I mean, he's saying that this is BS, but this better be 4K 60 at this point. You got the R7, you got everything Fuji's doing with their XH2S and all that. If this literally is like, this better have 4K 60. That's not a joke. Come on. Yeah, none of this sounds impressive to me. So this might as well be the specs. I mean, this is pretty lame. They also say now the Sigma 16 to 28 review at the Sony Alpha blog. Overall, it is a bit better than the Tamron 17 to 28. I have the 17 to 28. I like it. It's okay. I actually wanted the Sony 16 to 35 f4. I was going to trade for it, but I left for Vietnam before I was going to be able to get it. So, which I would have hated to lose that extra stop of light, but I mean, I do have the A7S III. Nikon, there wasn't too much new here from Nikon. Fuji rumors, there wasn't too much new from Fuji rumors that I can see. So if you see any particular news story that we have not went over in the past, or maybe we went over it and there's some new information, Canon patents 100 to 600 f8 to 11. I mean, sorry, I don't care. That's terrible. It's not terrible and whatever. It's going to be it's going to be a light lens, nice for some people. It's not for me. Cause f8 at 100 is not going to have any. I mean, I like the f8 idea. Was it f11 at 600 and 800? That was legit, but because you know such a far distance, you can still get some bokeh and be light. But this sounds not so good. All right, anybody still here? Or are we going to keep chatting? Bring this out to the chat. Let's throw me some information about what are y'all thinking on the FX3 versus the A7S III at this point. Does anybody have the A7S III besides Philip? Philip, I know he made his video about it as well. He's an A7S III owner. I feel like making a video like, how did Sony hurt you? Like everybody can talk about what Sony did. It's hurt them in the past. Yeah, it's getting rough out here for a Sony shooter. They're great. I have them, but I just wish that they would hold their cameras, or I guess keep supporting their cameras a little further than they do. If you're here, jump into the chat. I don't like to have a one-way conversation. It's or just me rather talking back and forth to myself. We can go over some more news, or let me know how I'm checking my feed here, because sometimes I check my feed just to make sure, you know, kind of what's the delay and lag like. So what's the lag like on y'all's end? Are y'all seeing, is it pretty good internet service? I am in Vietnam, so I'm not sure. Sometimes it can be a little spotty. I don't know if my internet's going in and out. Sony hurts so good. Oh yeah, they do. I mean, I guess to me, I know a lot of people are like freaking out about you can control the light differently with the Cine EI, and I don't understand it, and people are saying that, and maybe I don't. At the same time, I understand just shooting at base ISO. I mean, and using filters. I've been doing that for a long time, or not, I don't know, long time, but a lot of times I'll shoot it up to 12,800 and use an ND filter because that's what looks best. So, I mean, I get they have a different equation for it, but it's not necessarily the only thing here. So that's not a big deal. Like I said, the LUTs are the biggest deal for me, and the just the new menu. I like that new Sony menu. So yeah. But also, I guess if that's the upgrade, I was expecting more as far as like waveforms, and I mean even some kind of raw would be awesome. I mean, especially when you're getting. Not saying that I would 100% use it. I would just like to have it. And I mean, I have an external monitor, so if I need it, I can use it with that. But I mean, if Nikon is offering it, if Canon is offering it, I would hope that Sony would eventually offer it. I don't know if I'm here alone now. I prefer to get some kind of conversation going because it otherwise it gets awkward. Let's go back. I'm going to go back over to the news, and then hopefully people can throw some stuff in the chat, or they will roll in as well. Today we're going to be going to. I'll talk about that later. Let's see. Let's see if there was much news other than that. I didn't see much, to be real. Are y'all seeing this on the screen? Yeah, okay, you are. I mean, I didn't see much news, to be honest, guys. That's one of the reasons I didn't make just a traditional video, because I usually go over the news, and the news has been sparse, to say the least. I mean, if Sony Alpha Rumors is talking, or Canon, or yeah, Sony Alpha Rumors talking about these type of lenses, then you know it's pretty dead. Oh, this was pretty interesting. Here, there's going to be a Tamron 50. It's supposed to be released here in July, so coming up soon. I guess this was a leak. Tamron 50 to 400 f 4.5 to 6.3. That is an interesting lens. I think it's really cool because, I mean, starting at 50, usually they start at 100. I do wonder about the weight of that lens. Just the fact that it's starting at 50 at 4.5. I'll be interested to see that. I have the Sigma 100 to 400 f 5.3 to 5.6. That's 5 something to 6.3. So I have that lens. It's not the best of the best, but it was cheap, and I just wanted I wanted a telephoto lens that would do its job, and so yeah, and it was light. I needed it for traveling, so I've barely used it, to be real. We haven't traveled much while being in Vietnam. We're mostly just seeing our family right now, and then from here we're about to be taking some far trips, far and wide. We're going to take a train ride up the entire coast of Vietnam, or at least from where the train starts. Ho Chi Minh City. We're going to be going, stopping on destinations along the way, and then we're going to go to Hanoi and then Ha Long Bay. Probably be like a 2-week adventure. So that's what's up. Let's see here. Go back to the chat. We're getting some chats. Super chat from Long Rider. Appreciate you. Peace. Hate Manny. Manny Key. So, man, did I have some famous people in the chat besides that? My brain's blown here. Hey, Long Rider, what's going on, man? Long time no talk. Thank you for the super chat, as always. Super appreciate that. I had Manny and them here, but I think they either had to go or they weren't impressed with my terrible webcam footage here. But doing what we can do here in Vietnam. So, hey, what is your thoughts, Long Rider, on the FX3 situation? If you were me and you're more of a video shooter, would you trade the A7S III for the FX3, or do you think who really cares about the update? Keep your amazing EVF, because that is a beautiful EVF, and that's why I'm keeping it so far. Sorry, I'm checking my own feed. I'm not like just like texting or anything. I'm trying to get the internet. Is my internet looking okay? Because the internet on my phone is being terrible right now. Let me know in the chat. If you're here and you haven't hit that like button, hit that like button. We'll get this out to more people. Get this talking to people. We had a pretty big group and then a pretty big drop off. So hope I wasn't super boring in the very beginning, apparently. Let's see, man, I don't know. My internet's going off here, so let me know if my internet's terrible or my audio's terrible. Let me know. I'm here to serve you, please you. I don't know. It sounds bad. Um, what are you? Any new products that you got yourself? Oh, there we go. Long Rider said, "Life's too short not to be happy. You have a YouTube channel and use the camera quite a bit. Get what makes you happy." That's a good, wise words, Long Rider. Why don't you tell my wife that so I can get this camera? No, just kidding. Um, Connection is good. Thanks, Philip. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's going in and out. So like right now, it says that one person is watching, but it has to be more than that because there's two people I'm talking to. Earlier, it was like up to 10 people at the same time. So I don't know what's going on. But when that happens, I start feeling like, oh, are anybody watching, or did y'all drop off? Um, yeah, I'm with you, Long Rider. The biggest thing is how much can I get for the A7S III at this point? With the XLR, trading that up because I don't really need it. I have a different microphone that I use with it, and I only use it in studio situations, anyways. So I have that I could trade in, and I have this Tilta handle with the cage and stuff. That's also a thing. I've barely used it, and now that I have the gimbal, the new gimbal from the Ronin or whatever, I probably won't use it as much. So I don't know if I can trade those things and get like within $200 or $300 of a new, or even $500 of a new FX6 or FX3 rather, then I would probably do it personally. Just because of where I'm at in my career with this thing. So I make videos more than I make photos, and it looks like that is where their photo cameras are going. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still mad that they did this to the Sony A7S III. I still think it's shady. I think it's not right in my mind that they have abandoned it. Even if they want to diverge it, I can give people that argument and say that they want to make these things a little bit different. In my mind, it's not worth being able to do. I think after 2 years, that's a little too far. And also that that the FX3 came out 5 months after they promoted the Sony A7S III like it was the best of the best. That this is our handheld. They didn't say cinema camera, I guess, but they showed it alongside, very professional, talking about it's a video camera first, and then the FX3 comes out like 5 months later. Like you had to either know that that's in the works, or you just put that together as a cash grab. Either way, you had to know that you needed to keep the A7S III in them in parity. You gave us S Cinetone right away because you knew that it was the right thing to do in my mind, that other people were going to be pissed off at you. And then from there on out, I mean, why does the FX3 people try to make the case like, oh, it's a cinema camera. It's a cinema camera. Well, then why does it have all the same photo features as my A7S III? Take away those. If you take them away, if we're diverging the cameras, get rid of all the photography settings. I know I'm just being facetious, but at the same time, to act like it's a normal cinema camera when it hasn't been a normal cinema camera this whole time. I would even be fair with, and then people saying, I paid a premium. You didn't pay a premium. You got the XLR adapter. Anyways, uh, uh, the Philip said the comments on my video were much more aggressive and pro FX3. I don't know why so many people are on the side of massive corporations instead of individuals. Philip, a lot of my comments were the same. I had to go back and forth, and that's kind of why I kind of had to step away from it. Like I want to be able to I want to be able to engage the audience and everything. I didn't think what I was saying was going to be like upsetting to people. I didn't think people were going to jump on the idea that, oh, we have an FX3, and people were saying that they had to get their purchase justified. Like you chose the camera you chose, and you had both options. You had the FX3 and the A7S III. You knew that the FX3 was a repackaged A7S III. Your purchase was justified when you bought your camera. So to me, to act like, oh, see, now we're justified and we have a cinema camera, like, that doesn't make any sense. You got the camera you wanted and you chose. Not everybody got to choose. Um, and so I thought that was a silly argument. So yeah, I thought that was silly. And then also the biggest thing too is I don't understand the reasoning behind, like you said, why are people on the side of a big corporation? I mean, if you are somebody who's an A7S III user who is primarily a video shooter, which a lot of us are, why would you not want other people to get the updates that they want? Like, I'm glad that FX3 users got the update that they wanted. That's awesome. I'm glad that they're going to be able to use that camera in the way that most A7S III users want to use their camera. That's great. I'm glad you got an update. Me too. I wouldn't mind me and the tens of thousands of people that has the A7S III. Let us get the upgrade. There's no reason for us not to be able to do it, and there's no reason for you to actively not want us to get it because you have a camera that is, says Cine on it. Like, it doesn't make sense to me to think, oh, you don't want somebody else to have your update. That doesn't even, like, I would even settle, even though I still don't think it's right. But if Sony wanted to say, hey, we're diverging the brands, if you want your A7S III to be a more of a cinema style camera from here on out, there's a $400 upgrade and you get every update that the FX3 gets. I mean, from now on, I would do that in a heartbeat. And it would, I think the biggest thing that happened, and people want to say that Sony had some big grand thing from the very beginning. I don't think they had any grand plan. I think what's happening is the supply chain issues have been hitting, inflation's been hitting. That screen cost them a lot of money, and they really made the A7S III on probably some pretty tight margin with that incredible AVF screen that's on the back, and especially the prices went up. Everything's been going up. It's priced at $34.99 with that EVF. Is way more expensive than anything they're putting in the FX3 as far as the internals go. So they're basically selling you an extra XLR audio input as well as giving you taking out the EVF and charging you $400 more. So they're making a bigger profit off of the FX3. They're probably maybe losing money or making very little profit off the A7S III. So they're just wanting to send people away from that camera. That's what I think is happening. Anyways, Philip talked about people being silly. Ronald, if you wanted to swap, would it be a straight swap? Yeah, I was going over that earlier. It wouldn't. It would be very close. I mean, I've had this A7S III for years, so I'm not expecting it to be 100% equal. And they are $400 difference. Granted, it holds the XLR, but I have this right here, which actually is $600 accessory. So I have this along with a Tilta cage with a handle. So if I traded all of those, considering that it's used, it would be very close to a straight up swap. That's assuming I could even do that in Vietnam. I don't even know if I can do it in Vietnam. But this is just kind of a general discussion. I want to do it. Like, I would, if I thought I could get within a few $100s, I'd do it probably at this point. Yeah, people are silly. Philip said, gentlemen, yeah, as long as the FX3 and Sony A7S III have the same sensor, they are pretty much the same. I don't 100% agree as far as that goes. A lot of cameras share the same sensor. Sony gives the same sensor out to other companies, and they use it differently. The FX6 has the same sensor as the A7S III, so they can be different with different internals, but the FX3 and the A7S III haven't been different, and that's kind of the point. They have not been a different camera for 2 years. They were made. They even had the same everything, like the same photo-centric stuff in them. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So they have literally the same processor internals. The only difference is the external and the fan. So yeah. So Philip said people kept saying they knew this update was coming and that Sony was planning this from the beginning. Yada yada. How did they know that? So full of shit. I could say shit. I demonetized this thing on purpose so I can say a lot of curse words. That's the point. I demonetize these. Don't demonetize them. I can get like super chats and stuff. But I turn off the monetization on these lives because I want to say whatever the I want. But yeah, I was like, what kind of clairvoyance are you guys? We knew this update was coming. Okay, you knew it. I'm like, okay, I didn't. I wish I had your brilliant insights because I sure as hell did not know that they were gonna do that. And to act like it's not going to hurt the resale value of the A7S III is also silly to me. It's people use the A7S III as a video-centric camera first. No one's buying this as a hybrid, or most people aren't buying this as a hybrid. Can you take great pictures with it? Sure. But if people are buying hybrid, they want the A7 IV or the A1 if they can afford it. They don't want this camera as a hybrid. If they're getting a 12 megapixel sensor, it's because they want great low light video. And I'm not even going to go with that BS about great low light photography. It's not the best low light photography camera. It's because you get those wide, big ass pixels and things don't work out right. And they've showed it. People showed it. Who was the guy? I can't think of. DP Reviews showed on the prints and the big blobs and stuff. So, anyways, the point I'm making is I don't think that I think it has great photography capabilities. It does have some good low light stuff. It has great dynamic range on the photography side, but nobody is buying this camera because they think that they want a low light camera or low light photography camera. They're thinking they want a video camera. So that's why they're buying this camera. And that was kind of like, I just, the snobbery was annoying to me. Like people coming out saying like, I have a cinema camera now. Like, what have you had for the last 2 years? You know, or year and a half? Like, like I use my camera so much differently than you use your camera. I'm like, cool, you probably do. You're better than me. Great. Like, but there's plenty of people with the A7S III that are equally as good as anybody else with the FX3 and they're using it for video purposes. I don't ever claim to be the best of anything. I just try to be real and straight up and give you guys the news most of the time, in my opinions. Okay, sorry. It's getting my rant on even harder. I don't know. Maybe I should just trade it all and get the R5C. It's a pretty camera. Terrible battery. Anyways, if you're here and you haven't hit that like button, get this out for more people. I really appreciate it. We had a group of people out here earlier. Manny was in the chat earlier, and is it? I feel bad. Is it Tay or is it Ty? Should be a long A, right? Maybe I feel like I've seen the channel. I've seen him around, but I have not. Tay Keys. I feel like I don't know why some people just I haven't seen. The algorithm never pushed my way, but I feel like I've seen him around. But Manny, of course, I know, but I'm so shocked that Manny was actually in my thing. And I don't even have the A7S III set up, so I'm just using my webcam. So he was probably like, who the hell is this guy? So, anyways, it was pretty cool to see some, YouTube famous on here, especially in this space. I always appreciate everybody for showing up, though. You don't have to be famous or not famous. YouTube famous or no famous, you're famous in my heart. I pointed to my throat, but it was the closest that was there. Okay. Philip said, a cinema camera that can't shoot 24 frames per second, no shutter angle, no waveforms, or false color, no professional connections. Yeah, very cinema. Yeah, no true 24 is interesting. I don't know why they don't put that in there. My Canon EOS R has true 24. I don't know. It's weird. I don't need it personally. I mean, it doesn't much do anything different for me. But I hear people do need that. The shutter angle is another weird one. Like, why would you not add that? No waveforms. That's stupid. False colors. I don't think the FX3 has it, so maybe some people don't have that, or maybe some cinema cameras don't have it. But waveforms, no excuse. And they act like no professional connections. They're doing adapters, but yeah, you're right. The time code in is now adapter. Um, to me, that's an annoying situation. Like, none of these things really overall are things that we shouldn't even ask from our mirrorless cameras. Like, the Panasonic S1H has had 99% of these things, like, since 2019. Um, so I mean, this is kind of like stupid to act like, oh, why would you guys expect that in the A7S III? Because it's a good camera. Like, I don't know, why does the Nikon Z9 have waveforms and all these different stuff? Why does the Panasonic GH6 have a lot of these same features? Why cannot, all these different LUT stuff? Like, what? We expect this in our camera because it's a good camera. Like, even if you want to have the different menu system, great. But I don't know. Like, to me, it's a silly argument to act like a mirrorless camera can't even get these. Oh, no alpha camera should have that. Oh, why not? That's a weird rule. Anyways, uh, if y'all can tell, I'm very, yeah. Anyways, Ronald, are they both 12 megapixels? Yes, they're both. They have the exact same sensor. They have the exact same processor. They have the exact same everything essentially. One has a tally light, so I guess that's different. One has a fan. One doesn't have an EVF, but they've been the exact same camera with the same operating system, the same everything, up until a week and a half ago when they decided to shit on the A7S III. Anyway, Philip said, I wouldn't call the FX3 a cinema camera either. It's all about marketing. Philip R said, this is good content. Rant, man. All right, well, he gave me permission to rant. Yeah, I mean, everything is a blurred line at this point between cinema camera and non-cinema camera. I mean, people don't want to admit that this is a damn good camera. I mean, I'm not saying it's the best and that you should use an iPhone, but compare this to cameras 10 years ago. Compare this to phones 10 years ago. Look how damn good these phones have got in 10 years. I mean, so no, I'm not saying you should use that as your dedicated camera, but there's all a blurred line between what is cinema cameras at this point, what is not, what is a good mirrorless camera and what is not. So to act like we can't get certain features in a camera and that we can't expect certain features, or even just expect you to care about your consumers. We've spent this entire supply chain issue watching Nikon and Canon and even Fujifilm, but Nikon and Canon in particular, your biggest competition, your other big staple companies here in the camera industry, get upgrade after upgrade. Nikon Z9 go to 8K 60. Like, what? Brains blowing. You get all kinds of crazy stuff that they've added into that. You see Canon go with the R5. I mean, they added so many different stuff. They added, I think, ProRes within there. They added just like all these different raw, what was it, like raw light, and they've just addressed issues over and over again and improved their camera. And I get the argument that you don't want to release a half-assed camera and just expect to fix everything in firmware. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I think you should release a great camera, but still improve it in firmware, especially if you're in a supply chain issue where you cannot release new cameras for your audience. And Sony and everybody's been in the supply chain bottleneck. You haven't released anything, recently. Show your consumers that you like them and that you're still with them and that you care about them, and you release firmware. That's what you do to keep your name relevant. That's what you do to keep your customers happy. And for you not to do that, that's bullshit. And then for you to know that people have an A7S III and all kinds of other cameras and not even release updates for that, but just say, oh, now we have a cinema camera that we're releasing updates for. That's silly. And then on top of all of that, you didn't add shutter angle. You didn't add lens computation or whatever it is. The where with the focus breathing bullshit that happens in all the Sony cameras. Your A7 IV has the focus breathing, but your A7S III, your higher end video camera, and now your high end cinema camera, your FX3 bullshit, that doesn't have focus breathing. Are you kidding me? That's such a joke. And then even the little animal eye autofocus. I don't really 100% care, but a lot of people would love to have it. They shoot wildlife more than I do. Like, why would that be in your ZVE10 and your Sony A7 IV, but not going to be in your $3,500 camera and your A1, your 5,000 or whatever it is? What is it? Damn, $6,500 camera, and you're not going to put those features in that. And it's just a weird, like, who's like, I wish Casey was there from Camera Conspiracies to have a meeting, because this is it literally feels like they're taunting us. Like, I don't know. Sorry. And end scene. Sorry. Wow. Yeah, please chat, guys, because I'm just gonna keep ranting harder and harder on Sony, and it's making me madder. Wow, I shouldn't be this way. They do have good cameras, but they have pissed me off. If you're here and you're in the chat, or not in the chat, welcome to talk. If you're not, you're just listening. Thank you for listening. Hit this like button if you haven't. Let's get this out to more people. If y'all want to jump over to some news, is there some news? I've checked the sites. If there's some news that y'all want to talk about, y'all let me know. Philip said, "Damn, went to the bathroom and missed the epic rant." Yeah, maybe go back and watch that. I think that was about the 40-minute mark. You don't have to do it right now because I need somebody to talk to. But it was quite rant worthy, I feel like. But yeah, I don't know. It's disappointing. It makes me wonder at different times if Sony wants to be in the camera industry sometimes. And I know that sounds weird, and especially considering that we've heard really good things. Like there was somebody, I don't know their name. Um, I don't know their name. So let me read this. Ronald, Sony released a new firmware for the A7 III just last week, firmware 2.10. Yeah, the update was like some bug fixes and autofocus. Like, I don't, what are they updating? Like, what autofocus problems did we have? You didn't add an animal eye autofocus. I guess my point is, I'm not saying they don't do firmware for like the odds and ends, but I'm talking about firmware for like feature firmware. So I don't know if that was your point that you're making, but yeah, that just because you release a firmware doesn't mean that you're adding things of value to your real cameras. You might just be fixing things. Yeah, Philip was saying I think it was last month and it wasn't much. No, it was very little. They said something to do with autofocus improvements. With sure, that's what we need in a Sony camera. I mean, I'm glad your autofocus is great. Don't get me wrong. So, but at the same time, to act like, oh, we're fixing stuff, like it's going to be imperceivable, unperceivable. It's going to be very minute for most people to see that. What I mean by Sony not wanting to be in the, let's just call it photography industry, and that's probably a little. I'm being a little bit what's the hyperbolic here? I probably am. But the fact that they make more money off of the sensor tech, the fact that they're really big into the cinema line, like the Venice and things of that nature, it just, makes you start to wonder when they're not adding stuff. Like, I don't understand why Sony isn't competing as hard as they once were. Let's just go with that. Like, Sony looked like they were hungry, like they wanted the top mantle, and they got pretty damn close. They're our number one in mirrorless, or they have been, and they looked like they were competing on all cylinders, and they were bringing out the best of the best tech. And now it doesn't look like they're as hungry as the competition is, and that's disappointing to me. Because I was enjoying the Sony that would come out with their alien tech every so often and just blow everybody's brains. But right now, to me, they're being outcompeted by Canon and Nikon, at least in features. In a practical sense, can you hold a Sony camera and will they perform excellent? 100%. But which camera company do I look at right now and say, wow, they want my dollar? I don't necessarily know if it's Sony. Philip said, I feel like Sony is a deeply conservative company. I I don't know. Maybe they are. Um, and I had a conversation, another rant in the past. Sony's not going to just completely destroy the competition. That's not even how Japanese companies work. They don't have the same exact competitive nature that United States companies have, and I'm not saying that in a mean way. I'm saying that in a good way. Like they seem to be more cooperative amongst each other. They will help each other. They will help competition out because it's just kind of a part of I don't know their system. Long Rider can probably explain it better than me because he kind of talked about it, and I've heard that I guess in passing, but I didn't really ever articulate it as well as he did. I don't know if he's still in the chat or if he's maybe just listening. Um, but yeah, they have a different philosophy. Um, but as far as the conservative nature of Sony, like I guess the Sony that I was seeing that was releasing the A7 III and just seemed like it had the stack sensors before anybody had stack sensors. I mean, that's the Sony that was like, wow, man, they're doing something different, and I haven't seen that in a while. I'm super stoked for whatever they release that dual saturation or the stack sensor that doubles the saturation, light saturation, whatever that is, or whenever that is, and if it actually works, because that's when you could get like a 50 megapixel sensor with or 45 megapixel sensor with 8K that performs low light like a 20 something megapixel sensor. So that would be I don't really care if it has 8K, but it'd be nice just to see all the Ks. Let's add the Ks. Can I have 37K? Anyway, sorry. Philip, I think they feel like they had the most successful full frame mirrorless line for video shooters, even without including a lot of video features. Yeah, I mean, they do, I guess, to a degree, but I guess that's not going to be the case for long. I mean, it's not like I guess what gets you there isn't. I get okay. Rocky 3. That's what I feel like it is to a certain degree. Rocky 1 and 2, like he's the hungry. He's the guy who wants to go get him. He's the boxer. He's out there. He's running up and down the capital of Philadelphia. Is that where it's at? I know he's in Philadelphia. Is he running to the Capitol building? Anyways, but he's the hungry competitor. He's going after the champion. And the beginning of Rocky 3, that's when you see like he has all the robots and the toys and all the good stuff, and he's comfortable with his family. He has some good money, and he's getting soft. And that's when Mr. T comes and beats that ass. And pain. Um, so I feel like that's Sony right now. Like you're Rocky and Rocky 3 in the beginning. Um, and you need to get your act together or you're going to get your ass beat by Mr. T, Nikon, or Canon, whoever you want to call them. Okay. Ronald, I own the A7S III. Recently, I've been comparing their photography with Nikon and Canon. I feel Nikon and Canon colors are a bit more richer than the Sony A7S III. They are. Well, I don't know much about Nikon. I don't want to make just a generalized statement. Sony colors are very accurate to a fault. They've gotten better, but there's something to do with like Canon knows that you don't exactly care if it's perfect. Uh, they just want to give you the most pleasing image. And Sony, to their credit, gives you very accurate heating. Um, so yeah, uh, yeah. Philip said the Canon's full frame line has been a bit of a shit show. Agreed. The EOS R had the 2.8 crop in 4K. The R5 was an overheating mess. Yeah, that's true. I think the biggest problem with the R5, I mean, the EOS R, that they were just dipping their toes. It was not much. They were recycling stuff. Philip said Panasonic can autofocus, but otherwise would be the best, and Nikon is just a niche brand. I don't know about Nikon being a niche brand at this point. Um, I'll kind of address them one at a time. So the R5, I think the marketing was the problem with the R5 because the R5 is an incredible photography camera for the price and what it does with the autofocus and the megapixels and the speed. I mean, it's an incredible photography camera first. If they wouldn't have came out and acted like 8K, like they focused in on 8K and they marketed that hard because I was like, oh, 8K. That was like their biggest thing. That was all the leaks was coming out about 8K and like the lack of transparency in the marketing. Nobody had ever even done 8K. So even if they told us, hey, this has an overheating issue and with 8K, but this is something we're pushing the limits and we're going to be fixing it over time, which they have. So that 8K was, yeah, it had problems, but again with firmware, adding different stuff, I mean they've gotten that overheating issue down quite substantially. So yeah, I mean I just think that they marketed that was completely wrong. Um, but yeah, I mean I do agree, but I think that was a marketing issue more than just a camera issue because they should have just marketed as a photography camera with some video features because that's what it is. Panasonic can't autofocus, but otherwise would be the best. 100%. It's weird because Panasonic, I wanted the S1H. Like I had I was going from my Fujifilm X-T20 and I was gonna go full frame and I'd saved up money. I was gonna get. I, I'm I'm kind of the type of person who wants to get something that's out of my skill zone. Like I want to save up the money and get the A7S III over the A7 III that was out at the time. Even though the A7 III is probably better than my skill at the time, and I mean I guess that's all kind of subjective because whatever. But I wanted to get the S1H. It was a $4,000 camera. I was going to be moving up from like an entry level camera, and it had like literally my mind was blown by its capabilities. I thought, wow, everybody's talking about 6K. This has a fan. It's big. It has a beautiful red cinnamon. What is it? Jared Jared Poland Jared. Man, I mess those up all the time. Jared Poland talk about the cinnamon button, the tally light. Anyways, it was a beautiful camera, and then just the autofocus. It just seemed like it was everybody was talking about it. But that camera came out, I think 2018 was it? And yeah, it should have been better. Just talking about video, which is why I think Sony is confident in not going all out on releasing video features in their mirrorless line. I guess Nikon isn't a niche brand in a photography world, but it hasn't really made an impact on video or maybe just late to enter the game. Sony lens lineup is also by far the most mature, which I think gives them a leg up. Um, sorry, I'm kind of. And then Long Rider says, "For what do why not just an A7 IV?" Okay, I'll get back down to that in a second. So yeah, I see what you're saying about the Nikon with the video. I guess they haven't been doing as much with video. One thing about Nikon with video that is great is that the Z9, for example, um, it can do a lot of things because they're not protecting any cinema cameras whatsoever. Whereas Sony is protecting their Venice line and their higher end FX lines. So that is something interesting that they can do. Panasonic, we just went into that. I think they're great. I don't know why they won't fix their damn autofocus. Sony lens lineup is definitely the most mature for their mirrorless market, 100%. They don't necessarily. Canon has some great lenses. I feel like every lens they bring out is pretty excellent as far as, or at least they're either very crappy or very excellent. So overall, I think they have great lenses with the RF, but they definitely are hurting by keeping that lens mount closed. Sony, I love that open lens mount. At this point, I don't even know if I have any Sony lenses. I had some Sony lenses, but I think I got rid of them all because I just have third party. I have Tamron Sigma, I think. Yeah, I just have Tamron Sigma lenses right now, and they work fine. Longwriter said, for what? Why not just an A7 IV? Are you saying why not get an A7 IV instead of A7S III? The reason I was saying that is I was talking about back at the time. I was kind of throwing a throwback. I was going to get that over, or I was going to, the time I got the A7S III, there was no A7 IV. So yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah. So at the time, there was just A7S III when I got the A7S. Yeah. The reason I like the A7S III is I like the low light. I like the dynamic range. I like the 4K 120. Oh. Trade your S3 for the A7 IV. I don't know. I don't know. It's not bad. I don't like the rolling shutter issue on the A7 IV. I'm not saying it's a bad camera, but it's for video. The rolling shutter is not good. I don't like there's no full frame 4K 60, which is baffling. So I don't understand that. So yeah, no. For me, the A7S III makes more sense than the A7 IV. If I was more hybrid, like yourself, or I think you're just more primarily photos, then yeah, I'd probably go A7 IV. But yeah, no, for video, I think the A7S III is for me more superior. Not saying it's always sharper. I use 4K 60 a lot, actually, for slow motion. I mean, probably less than you would think. I'm actually very. I use slow motion in ways that not like most people use slow motion. So I don't, generally speaking, do a lot of like. I don't really care. I mean, I'm 20. I shoot in 24, so I don't really care necessarily about like a lot of times showing stuff in slow motion, like making it look like it's in slow motion. What I'll use it for is if I'm doing any kind of pan shots and I want it to be more stable. Because if you just, and if I'm doing it handheld, then I'll just throw it in the 4K 60 and 4K 120. I'll do both of that. And I'll move it. And just when you slow it down and maybe add some stabilization, it's pretty great. So that's mostly what I use it for. I don't really, most of the time I'm using 24 for pretty much everything. I don't do a whole lot. Like I said, it's usually, I don't necessarily want to show people that I'm using slow motion when I do most of the time. I don't know. It's just personal taste. Ronald said I was so close to swap my A7S III with a used Canon R5 a month ago, but after some research, I figured the R5 overheats. Yeah, it definitely does. Also, Sony has a variety of lenses to choose from, where the Canon lenses are very limited, so I didn't swap. Yeah, again, that's a big one. Jack's twin. The viewfinder is a must. Yeah, I know. That's the big thing, man. I would easily pay for it. I just want that menu more than anything, and the LUT. That's the biggest thing, and just the future. I don't know. Maybe I think I'm just buying. I think I'm addicted to buying cameras. Is really what it is. I want to trade. I'm one of those guys. Now I preach against it. I'm like, it's the skill level, and then I see a new camera and I'm like, it'll make me better. It never does. Anyways, Philip says not just 4K 160, it's 4K 120. Longer said, yeah, I'm just asking because I never see him do slow stuff. Yeah, you might not see it because, like I said, I don't advertise it. And also, to be real, like with this channel, I most of the time I'm doing talking head stuff, so I don't really do as many vlog stuff as I should maybe do out in the field stuff. But with the travel channel that I'm currently creating, with that stuff, I will be doing slow mo stuff. Actually, kind of, kind of have a yeah. Phillips the thing the stability is a big deal. Jack said, dude, I get it. I'm looking at the FX3 or A1 as a second camera and hopefully last camera for a while. I know my wife is just like baffled because I was coming to Vietnam and I was just like, yeah, I got the camera that I need. I got everything. And then this update came out. I was like, is there any way I could kind of trade this? But I don't know if I'm even going to be able to do it in Vietnam. It's just so convoluted. I can't talk enough Vietnamese and my wife doesn't care to help me enough. Not that she's like mean. She just like thinks I'm being silly. And I probably am. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think I'm too addicted to be real. I think I'm being sold. But I don't know. And I do feel like there is a jolt of creativity when you get a new camera. Not that it makes you better. I just think that it makes you want to go out and experience this new, toy more. And for some people, this gets you kind of excited, and I think that's a big thing for me. I like getting new gear because then it's like, oh, I got something new I can shoot with. And obviously, I think everybody, ideally, Long Rider is one of the most like just pure photographer guys that I know. I mean, he goes out and he shoots every day, and that's just his love and his passion. And I respect his passion. I admire his passion for the amount of work that he does. Um, I do that, but I don't do it near as much as I should. I do a lot more learning about editing. I do a lot more learning about tech, and I really should be out in the field more than I do. And I think that's one of the things about this trip that I'm excited for. We haven't traveled much while being here yet. We're just seeing our family. We haven't seen them in 4 years, but yeah, like that's what I want to do more of. I want to take my camera out more. Philip said the viewfinder is the killer feature. The FX3 is a downgrade. You can use an external monitor for LUTs. Yeah, I know, Philip. Don't talk me out of it. Okay, I understand. Cliff said, I have the A7S III, but dang, I missed the FX3 cooling fan. It's the one thing I really want in all my cameras. Wow. I've never had an issue with that. Have you had the A7S III slow you down at all? Like overheat? Because I've never had that happen, like ever. But I'm here in Vietnam, and so when I get out in the field, that might be something that is an issue. So that's a good reason, right? Can I tell my wife that? No. All right. Yeah, I was going to talk about, I'm just going to skim through it. I don't want to make anybody watch anything, and I'm going to be posting this on my travel site later. And I haven't even color graded this stuff. So I just want to show Long Rider what I was talking about with the stability and the way I use it. So please keep talking in the chat because I appreciate the conversation. This is right here. Can we see this? Okay. This is, I think I'm going to, because this is going to be posted, like, it's not going to be till October. This is B footage. This is not me getting it. So today is the day that we're finally getting to go to Vietnam, and we're bringing you with us. So we just landed here in Chicago. So far, everything's been really good. He had, but I want to show, just go over here. So right here, right there, Long Rider. I don't know if you're still watching, but this type of stuff, that's 4K 60. Or I'm not even 4K. So where you're getting this slow pan over here with the sign. Like if you aren't doing that and you're handheld, then you're. So Twee is currently wait. So I think this is that stuff is 4K 160, and you're getting like slow pans and stuff like that. So yeah, I do use it quite often. For the first time, which was really awesome. And it's kind of surreal being here again after so long. Just sorry, I didn't mean to just that stuff's not coming for a while because it's on a different channel, but it's not for travel. But I might, you know, if I think it's some good stuff, I might use it for kind of like I'll use it for purposes of saying oh wait, what? Oh, okay. All right, so sorry about that. Yeah, no, I was just kind of flowing through this video here. Jack says if they come out with an optional viewfinder for the FX3, I'm not sure how I'll feel. Yeah, that will suck. Okay, all right. Appreciate it. Pause the video when you're talking. We can't hear you. Okay. All right, so here, let's try this again. I'm not going to show you the thing. All right, so yeah, all right, so let me go over here. Can y'all still hear me talk now then? So if I don't do that. So I was just showing this little shots like this. This is 4K 1 right there. Even just that little, those little, like two little areas, that's 4K 60. And the reason it's 4K 60, and I'm not advertising, I'm not showing anybody I'm doing something slow, but I want that steady looking pan, and I'm handheld. And so that's primarily how I use that. Now, let me go through here. There's another area I use it. Yeah, like right here. Not right there, but okay. So this, when you're doing that, I mean, these are very steady shots. Not that, that's B, but that's stock footage. But this, in Japanese airport, when you're doing different stuff, Tokyo airport, when you're doing things like that, having slow motion is excellent. And obviously you can tell I haven't color graded this yet. This is just ProRes out so I don't lose it. So anyways. Okay. Okay, cool. Well, I appreciate y'all letting me know, because I usually do not show videos while doing this. So like that was like probably my first time ever showing a video actually doing this. So I appreciate you letting me know that the audio was bunk. I didn't want to mess anything up, but I was just using those as examples because I don't. Long Rider was saying I don't use that type of footage. Like I said, I just don't like to show that I'm using slow motion. Philip says, or Jack's twin says, Philip is our union rep. Thank you. Okay, that's we need representation. Philip is great. I just was introduced to Philip's channel recently, and he's from Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. It's really weird, but anyways, now I'm in Vietnam, so I'm from Vietnam. No, I'm in Vietnam for a while though. The shooter. Yeah, just the music was too loud. I couldn't hear it. Yeah, I just went over that. Appreciate you letting me know that. Put the power back in the working man's hands. Yeah, right. Ronald said, Vietnam looks cool. My older brother is in Vietnam too. He's in Hanoi. He's an English teacher. That's awesome. Yeah, I thought about doing like a English teaching type thing to stay here longer at different times, but I don't think I'd do that right now. My goal is to hopefully get YouTube to a level where I can stay here for longer, and because it's cheaper, cost a lot living here. but I have not been to Hanoi. We're going to be going to Vietnam. Yes, I haven't color graded yet. So yeah, there's that. I didn't. Yeah, that this was just. So this trip right here. I'm gonna play the audio just for a second. I'm gonna keep it down though. So the reason that I'm doing that is because um, here at the end. So it starts off. This isn't even me. This is stock right here, and then obviously this goes to me and mixture of stock and me. Obviously, this is S-Log3. I've not color graded it yet. Well, this part right here has been just that was a lot that was thrown over that part. But anyways, the reason I haven't color graded is because I'm going to go in and add graphics later and add footage later, and I didn't want to slow down my timeline. But I did want to put this out in ProRes as well as copy everything in case I lost everything. So I at least have this in ProRes. So because at the very end here is when I'm and to go along this journey and to bring you with us. And I'm guessing maybe if you're watching this right now, then it's going good so far. So the point is, I'm guessing if you're watching right now, it's going good so far, and then it's going to be 10 seconds of like all the trips that we've been taking. So this is like our introduction video. So I'm going to go back and add as we travel, like say we're in Halong Bay, Hanoi, wherever, Phuoc Island. I'm going to be adding different shots. And if I added that to the timeline right now, well, I can't right now because I don't have the video footage. But if I started going in and color grading everything, um, and adding graphics and adding all kinds of different stuff, like I want to add the timeline here. I want to go to like I want to say Japan, like I want to give like a 27 hours till this, kind of add a little bit of tension, even though it's not. But anyways, so yeah, like but yeah, I didn't color grade anything yet, but I shoot everything at S-Log3. Okay. Philip's heading out, so yeah, I'm about to have to head out too. But I'll say peace out to Philip. Appreciate you being here. Good chatting with you. It's bedtime in Nashville. Power to the people. Fuck the man. And A7S III for life. I'm with you right now on the A7S III. We'll see what happens. Probably will be for a while. I don't even know if I can make it happen here. Um, um, Jack's twin. What do you think of S Cinetone? I don't feel like I've seen much from S Cinetone that I like. Um, and I know I see people using it, but it always has like a blue green look to me. And I like the flexibility of S-Log3. Now I get some people can make S Cinetone look good, but like S-Log3 is super easy to work with in my mind. Not saying I'm perfect with it by any means, but it's like it's the most forgiving. If you mess up a shot, you can get some stuff out of it. So I'd rather just use S-Log3. The Phantom LUTs are excellent LUTs, and then you can just put those on those. Most of the time, it clears up 90% of your workflow, and then add some if you want to put neutral, and then add some orange and teal. Add some orange and teal, and then from there, yeah, just that's kind of how it works out. That's why I don't use S Cinetone that much. Sorry, I went back to screen share, not the chat. So yeah, I personally don't use it. Not saying it's not good. I just I don't know. I like the flexibility of S-Log3, and then also you can add other LUTs or do more creative stuff if you wanted to do that. Like I like the Utopia and the Phantom LUTs. Alistair Chapman has the Venice look. Sometimes they're really good. I have Maddie's LUTs, Maddie Hapoya, which they're hit or miss. Sometimes they're harder to work with. And you just do different stuff. I don't know. I like the idea of having S-Log3. It's not that hard for me. I don't think. I think my colors are decent most of the time. Not right now. I'm just using a Mac. Yes. All right. We got some people watching. Sorry, I just been watching me rant most of the time. Throw in a question. Throw in some talk. I'm actually about to leave, go to Kunta City. It's about an hour and a half away from where I'm staying right now. They have, we're going to be doing this like riverboat ride stuff. I may actually bring my camera for it. Not that I'm necessarily going to create any real content, just for fun. Might have it there. And, but we're going to be going to this like river ride restaurant type thing. So that'll be interesting. Spend some time with some friends and some my brother-in-law's family is there. My brother-in-law's in-laws live there, so we go there. We eat with them. We are merry and happy and drink beer. No, I don't drink, but other people drink beer, and I'll watch and enjoy. So I'm about to head out there. If anybody has any last minute questions they want to throw my way, um, Jack's twin says, "Have you considered switching to Canon?" I switch around sometimes. I have a Canon EOS R, and so it's not like switching. I would just be buying another Canon. Uh, but yeah, I've considered it. It's just those lenses are so damn expensive. It's a big issue. And then also certain things about Canon I love, but certain things really are annoying. Like you don't shoot in 10-bit if you're not in log profile, which I'd shoot in log anyway, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. But that's annoying. The metering mode is odd. Like you just have to like the way it meters out. It doesn't. It's always evaluative. Oh, wow, I can't even say the right word. Anyways, it's metering the entire screen in video instead of metering like you can do that in photography. You can like say, "Oh, I want this to meter in the center," or "I want this to meter whatever spot metering." Or, but when you're doing the exposure metering in video, it's like evaluative. So you're looking at the entire screen. So it's hard to like judge sometimes if you're shooting in log. Like, oh wait, are you metering against my face or this blown out background? It's kind of weird. So they do some odd stuff. I like the different just diversity that you get with my Sony camera. I like that. Um, that's where I'm at right now with it. But I'm not opposed to like owning a Canon, or I still own a Canon for some of my still stuff because it's 30 megapixels if I need it. But yeah, I like the A7R. They're not the A7R, the R5C. I thought that was an amazing looking camera. Um, but I think that I'm gonna be sticking with Sony for this foreseeable future. If they don't keep pissing me off. If y'all have any last minute stuff to throw in here, let's do that. We've been going for about an hour and 20 something minutes. I appreciate everybody showing up. Um, I mean, it was. I hope it was a good conversation. Hope it was entertaining for everybody. I feel bad because it took me a minute to get my sea legs on. I'm just kidding. It took me a minute to get rolling on what I was feeling here, but I hope by the end of it, you guys were enjoying yourself. But I am going to log off because it's 10 a.m. and we are about to have to make about an hour and a half trip to go see family and friends. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. Manny, if that really was you, call me. I'm just kidding. You don't know my number. That was pretty cool showing up. Letting a small YouTuber see that other people are watching. Appreciate that. Appreciate you all, no matter who you are. Subscribers, no subscribers. Thanks for being here. Till next time. Peace.